Good evening, everyone. The Thursday, January 11th, 2024, meeting of the Brisbane Planning Commission will now come to order. Staff, may I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Funka,
Present?
Commissioner Gooding,
Present.
Commissioner Lau, Commissioner Patel.
Here.
The record show Commissioner Sayason is absent.
May I please have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second. May I have a voice vote, please, staff?
Commissioner Funka,
Aye?
Commissioner Gooding,
Aye.
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Lau.
The vote passes with 5 ayes. Now, I would like to ask if there's any members of the public who would like to pull an item from the consent calendar. And I understand staff will post the number, text numbers in Zoom. And give members of the public 30 seconds to do so.
Start a timer for 30 seconds.
All right. Meanwhile, anyone from the commission like to pull an item from the consent calendar?
No, thank you.
No.
Okay, 30 seconds has passed.
Okay. Seeing none, may I please have a motion from one of the commissioners to adopt the consent calendar? So moved. Second. May I have a voice vote, please?
Commissioner Funka,
Aye?
Commissioner Gooding,
Aye.
Commissioner Lau, Commissioner Patel.
Motion passes with 4 ayes. This time, I'd like to ask if anyone would like to address the commission for items that are not on the agenda tonight. And again, members of the public who wish to do so may call the numbers that are displayed right now, and I believe it'll be displayed for 1 minute. Is that right?
Correct. And I've started already.
And I think we received one written communication, which I think was basically making us aware of an upcoming workshop. Any others were received since then? Okay.
Okay, 60 seconds has elapsed.
All right, thank you. Well, with that, I think we're ready to move on to tonight's agenda item regarding 15 Industrial Way. And I believe you have a presentation for us, staff.
Yes, thank you. The applicant requests approval of a 5-year interim use permit to allow for a contractor's equipment storage yard at 15 Industrial Way. That would be for Yerba Buena Engineering and Construction, a public works contractor. The site is located on the western edge of the Bayland subarea, immediately at the north end of Industrial Way. The site is fenced and gravel surfaced and less than 1/4 of an acre in size at approximately 9,500 square feet. Access to the site is through a gated entrance driveway at Industrial Way, which terminates at a signalized intersection approximately 200 feet to the west at Bayshore Boulevard. The site has historically been part of the lands of the rail yard maintenance yard and more recently used for storage for the former statuary company that had its office and warehouse across the street at 10 Industrial Way. The site is enclosed by a 6-foot-high slatted chain link fence on the northeast and west sides, and on the south side, it's bordered by the warehouse building of 21 to 27 Industrial Way. And that building includes automotive repair, contractor, warehouse office uses. North of the site at 11 Industrial Way is a multi-tenant contractor's yard. Across Industrial Way to the west is an office warehouse for a tour bus company. The area to the east behind the site is the vacant lands of the former rail yard. As I mentioned, Yerba Buena Engineering and Construction is a contractor that performs public works projects. The proposed use of the site is to park their earth-moving equipment and vehicles when it's not in use at construction sites. Typically, approximately 5 employees would be on the site in the mornings and late afternoons to pick up or drop off equipment. Equipment and vehicle storage would include such items as loaders, excavators, backhoes, pickup trucks, and dump trucks. The gravel surface would be maintained by the contractor so as not to track dirt or mud onto industrial way or to generate airborne dust. No raw construction materials or waste would be permitted to be stored on site. Likewise, equipment maintenance and repair would not be permitted on the site. No utilities or building improvements exist or are planned, given the nature of the use. And finally, no lighting is planned since the need to access the yard for equipment would typically be during daylight hours. The proposal, including the conditions of approval, complies with all the findings for approval, which were detailed in the agenda report and in the draft resolution. In summary, the proposed use is consistent with the surrounding industrial uses. Given its relatively small size and few number of employees that would access the site each day, vehicle trips would not be considered significant, and the location provides for ready access to the signalized intersection at Bayshore Boulevard. And as I mentioned, no improvements are planned or required for the use. Staff has not proposed to prohibit certain hours of operation, but the use would be expected to operate as described by the applicant. And if the typical hours were to be changed, that would be subject to planning director approval. Finally, this application was provided to North County Fire Authority, Public Works Department, Police Department, County Health, and the Regional Water Board. Recommended conditions have been included, and with that, no objections were raised from any of the departments. So in closing, staff recommends approval of the interim use permit application 2023 UP9 via adoption of the resolution, which contains the findings and conditions of approval. If there's any questions, happy to take them.
Yeah, Commissioner Dahl, please go ahead.
I have just a quick question. With the heavy equipment being moved in and out of the yard, is there any expectation of like accelerated wear on Industrial Way, you know, in terms of the street? Degrade.
Yeah, so
from all the heavy equipment.
Right. This application was put forward to the city engineer, and he didn't raise any concerns with that. I think with the fairly limited number of vehicles, we're not anticipating excessive wear for this.
Questions from any other commissioners?
Just one question. I drove by briefly this morning and noticed that the current surfacing of the area is rough, in my opinion. And so I would suggest, and maybe this is more for a comment section, but do you know specifically what kind of, what does graveling mean in terms of the conditions that are suggested by staff for the approval of this issue?
Well, it would remain as gravel, and so they would need to keep the surface even so they don't have water ponding, those sorts of issues. And that'd be to the satisfaction of the city engineer.
Thank you.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, this is not really specific to this application. When there is a condition like that, is there like a schedule for resurfacing? Like you do it once a year before the rainy season, or does the engineer drive by sometimes? It doesn't matter. As I said, it's not specific to this application. I'm just wondering how that works.
My understanding is that Public Works does periodic inspections of these kinds of sites to see how they're operating and may then raise, if there's an issue that they see, they can raise it directly to the operator.
Makes sense. It does seem pretty straightforward to me, especially if all these other bodies have already looked at the submission and set conditions and recommended approval. Commissioner Patel, any questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, well, in that case, I don't think further discussion is needed amongst ourselves, right? So can we move straight to a vote to approve?
Public hearing.
Oh, okay. My apologies. Any members of the public who would like to address the commission on this subject?
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Miguel Galarza, and I'm the founder and the current president of Yerba Buena Engineering. I've been in business 22 years, and I primarily do public works for the city and county of San Francisco, Caltrans, Corps of Engineers. So we're a heavy civil contractor, and we hire locally. We're based in the Bayview, just about 2 miles away from this location. And my boss told me many years ago, if your equipment's sitting around in the yard, it's not making you any money. So, the goal is to keep our equipment out on project sites. And this is simply, periods of time when we're not working. We need a place to put it besides leaving it on the street. And so this facility will help facilitate that. And, every now and then we have extra gravel, from a project. We lay it down and, rather than throw it away, we reuse it and maintain, because it doesn't make any sense for us to track dirt out into the public way. It just creates a problem for us to have to clean up after ourselves. So it's a thing that we would do as needed to make sure that we're good neighbors for the community and not causing any heartburn for the public. We're good stewards of the community, and we intend to be a good neighbor to Brisbane and the city of Brisbane. Thank you. Any questions for me directly?
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to come out. So what were you, before you have a new solution now to put the equipment when it's not at work? What were you, before it was on, did you have another facility or?
Yes, we currently rent a facility about 1,000 feet down the street. And we shared that facility with another contractor who has since closed their doors. And the current yard is way too big for us and for our needs. And so reaching out to Valens, they had this slot, which would be perfect for our needs, but yet needed to be permitted. So hence the reason that we went ahead and moved forward with that, so we can remain competitive, keeping our price point in order, so that we can be competitive in the arena. And that's
Well,
the
that's
reason.
great. I'm glad it was a workable arrangement. Any other members of the commission have any questions?
Just curious, so is your equipment currently covered, in a covered area, or is it
No,
open?
it's in
open?
an open
It's all open.
yard. The yard is, like I said, about 1,000 feet down the east of 15 Industrial Way. So it's heavy equipment's designed to be out in the open.
Okay.
Yes. And to your point, sir, when we load equipment, we don't drive equipment out onto a public road. We bring a transport into the facility. We load it onto the facility. Those are all legal weights for city streets. And so that low boy, what we call a low boy, would traverse just like any legal load. When we say heavy equipment, we don't mean heavy equipment. These things probably weigh 40,000 pounds, 20,000 pounds. They're not very large pieces of equipment. You're welcome.
Was your previous facility in Brisbane as well, or is it just over the border?
No, it is in Brisbane.
Also in Brisbane?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you very much.
More than welcome.
Commissioner
Thank you
Patel,
for your
Gooding.
consideration.
Questions? Thank you.
I would invite more public comment. Any other members of the public would like to address the commission? I guess we have to give some time to the public as well. And how long will this be open for?
At your pleasure. I have no participants raising their hand in the
Okay.
Zoom, so
We'll
it
give
would
it-
only
let's say
be
we give it
phone or.
30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds has passed. I have no hands and no
Great,
messages or
seeing
calls.
no hands raised, I think that concludes the public hearing. And I think now,
Can we get a motion to close the public hearing, please?
may I have a motion, please, to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
May I have a voice vote?
Commissioner Funka,
Aye.
Commissioner Gooding,
Aye.
Commissioner Lau, Commissioner Patel.
Aye.
Motion to close the public hearing, public comment period passes by 4 votes. Now, I think it's up to the commission to discuss this topic. Any comment in addition to the questions we've asked and had answered?
No.
I don't either. Like I said, I thought this would be relatively straightforward. In that case, I think we can move to, okay, may I have a motion to approve?
So I'll move to approve the pending application with the findings as provided by staff.
The second, please. May I have a voice vote, please?
Commissioner Funka,
Aye.
Commissioner Gooding.
Aye.
Commissioner Lau, Commissioner Patel.
Aye.
Motion passes with 4 votes to none. So thank you very much. I think that concludes that agenda item. So to move on with the rest of the agenda, are there any items initiated by staff this evening?
I think you received some notification of training sessions. There are a number of different opportunities that are coming up for the commission for training. One is local, San Mateo County. The other one is up in Sonoma. And then the state, the League of Cities, has a larger conference, a 2-day conference down in Long Beach. And again, the city does provide budget for commissioners to attend these training sessions, or one of them. So we'll send more information as to the dates and the registration information. And if you're interested, we certainly encourage you to attend whatever might be convenient for you. And we'll work with you to arrange the payment if you are interested. So we'll get that information to you, and hopefully you'll have an opportunity to attend at least one of those different opportunities. And
Any
that's
that
all
you
I
would
had.
recommend of these 3?
I've only been to, I've been to the county one, which is, I think, going to be focused, I believe, on housing this year. So it's not a very broad, but I mean, housing being a very, hot topic. That's a very short commitment of time, 2 hours, I believe, or 3 hours in an evening, and they feed you. So that's something. The academy that the league puts on is a much more robust. It's two full days, I believe, of training. And it covers a really wide variety of topics. And I've never been to the Sonoma State session myself, so I can't really speak to its coverage, but it's fairly short. I think it's a 3-hour session, so it's only so much they can really cover in that kind of window. But maybe it depends on where you are in terms of your comfort with the topics and whether you want to get a broader view of things or whether you want to really focus on particular topics. But we'd encourage you to consider it, and we'll work with you to get attendance if you're interested.
I may have missed the memo, but when is the Sonoma State one?
I think it's February 3rd.
Okay.
They're all in February or March. Yeah, so we'll give you plenty of notice
Okay,
on that.
thank you.
And then the other thing, just for the commission's reminder, is a second meeting in February, you will select officers. So we'll put that on your agenda for the second planning commission meeting in February.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, staff. Any other items initiated by the commission? Okay, seeing,
You might want to read the appeals process for anyone who might
Oh.
want to appeal the item.
it was recommended that we pass the application today. Anyone may appeal the action of the planning commission tonight. This is, I guess, for the benefit of folks who might be listening in. Except where specified otherwise, appeals shall be filed with the city clerk no later than 15 calendar days following the planning commission's decision this evening. Exceptions to the 15-day filing period include the following. Appeals shall be filed with the city clerk within 6 calendar days of the planning commission's action for use permits and variances, and 10 calendar days for tentative maps and advertising sign applications. An application form and fee is required to make a formal appeal. And for additional information, please contact the city clerk at 415-508-2110. Yeah, my apologies for not reading that right after the vote. And there's no more items initiated by staff or things I forgot to do or by the commission. I think we can adjourn tonight's meeting. Thank you very much.